What is going on, fellas? And welcome back to Rebel Rescue with me, FoggyPlays on FM22. Today we're taking on Galway United, newly promoted Galway, might I add. We should be winning this game very comfortably. And then we're going to be taking on UCD, who were one of the surprise packages of last season. So if you do going to enjoy this episode, and last episode actually was the transfer roundup. You didn't miss a huge amount, so I wouldn't be overly fussed about going back and watching it. But if you can, if you want, it will be linked over in the top corner over yonder. So if you do going to enjoy this episode, of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would make me quite happy. Thank you very much for watching. And we're going to thank you very much for watching. In the intro. So, fellas, as I so eloquently put it in the intro, we're taking on Galway in the first match today. We're taking on UCD to start our season. And one thing I did forget to show in the last episode, the transfer special, if you will, is that we are favourites to win the league, which kind of makes sense. We've kind of dominated last season. We have spent money this year where normally we wouldn't, but we do have quite a significant hold on the media dream 11, like the goalkeeper, Prince, Quigley, Coleman and O'Brien in the back four, brooking a player we had on trial, and I decided not to take with us. Alan Murphy is in the media dream 11. Probably going to have to give him a decent amount of opportunities, but Ono Friti and then Chabozo and Whelan as the strikers. So we are expected to do quite well. But just saying, probably going to be a team that we should win the league relatively comfortably. They're expecting Shelburne to do better this year than they did the last time they got promoted. We'll have to wait and see how that goes for them. But Galway are expected to finish bottom, get relegated, and automatically relegated. And UCD are favourites to be the ones that'll be kind of closest to them. But if you look at what happened last season, I think UCD had a sixth place, decent season for them. It really was the top four, and then like 5th to 9th were fairly similar, and then just poor Bray Wanderers. Nobody wanted them. Nobody cared. They were not ideal. So we're taking on the team that are expected to get relegated. Glueson potentially making his debut today against us. And we're, like I said, we didn't do too much in the way of new signings. So the only player in the first 11 making their debut is Oseni, because Kukic, who has signed a new contract, played the most recent friendly. So I'm going to give him just a start from the bench. And I think that is the only player that will be making their debut today. Or Rhys Griffin could make his debut off the bench. Bringing him in, he's going to be on the bench probably every game because he can play right back and left back. He is a utility player. He's fantastic and came through the same youth intake as Roy Quigley. Just Roy had that one off season where he just went amazing. Just became like the best player in the under 19s. So he's been given plenty of opportunity in the first team. So hopefully Rhys Griffin can do the same. The last time we did play Galway, we did lose. So, we'd expect a bit better than that. Glueson makes his debut today. I think he's the only ex-Cork player that I've sold to them. So we'll have to see how we get on. I'm going to send the assistant to that because I don't really care. And we are going to start this game. We're going to go attacking straight away. Quigley. I'm not really sure what kind of throw that was, but it's fine. Mulder, for some reason, is playing at centre back, and O'Brien was playing at left back for that bit of play. Chabozo finds Zidane. I'm sticking with Zidane. I think that he just needs to get his eye in. And Ono Seni on his debut, 4 minutes into his competitive debut, and he has scored. Is he going to be the goal scorer this year? Because I'm looking at his attributes. Waterford really didn't use him well because they were playing him as like a deep lying forward. And I'm thinking that really doesn't suit him. He's just put the ball in the back of the net. Oh, it's offside. Aww. It's unfortunate. But yeah, they were playing him as a deep lying forward. He's more of a poacher slash pressing forward. Got more holes in this game for the pressing forward. I think poacher is kind of his sweet spot. I was hoping we'd play in our away kit today, but what can you do? We might get to play in that in the UCD game, and as I said in the last episode, I did change the kits, so because they don't use the grey kit, it's the black kit now, which I have, and it is beautiful. And Whelan, really unlucky, but Ono Sene puts the ball in the back of the net. We are 2-0 up against Galway. Potentially showing you a game against Galway was a bad idea, but like I said, we did lose the last time we played them, but it was a very rotated side. This is potentially our strongest 11. Potentially. Chabozo puts it wide. The only players I'd really look at and go, maybe not our strongest, would be Zidane. He's definitely the best central midfielder we have at the club. He's just a little bit hit or miss. He's very inconsistent. Mulder, we don't really have a fantastic left back. Mulder probably is the best of them. Left back for the first 2 or 3 seasons would have been our strongest position, is now potentially the weakest. Kevin O'Connor was exceptional. Mulder is fine. I'm not going to go out of my way to change it. I don't think Mulder is going to make that much of a difference. We could probably play Kevin O'Connor and it would be fine. I'm not sure Chabozo or Carlsberg, quite like Carlsberg, as you're all probably well aware. I think Onofriti is without a doubt the best right winger we have. But I'm going to give opportunities to everybody. You know, Emran, our highest paid player, Josh Adams, our second highest paid player, don't get many opportunities in the way of first team appearances, but I will do everything I can to get as many players in the team game time as I can. And as you can see, Derry are absolutely smashing Sligo. Ryan Coleman has the ball taken off the line. Gluson's, I'm not sure why they're playing Gluson as a winger. We had him for like 2 or 3 years. Never really saw him as an actual winger. That wasn't. What am I doing? I have annoyed all the players accidentally by not paying attention to what I was clicking. I was just clicking buttons. Sligo have scored. Ooh. The Bray midfielder we were trying to sign. He wanted a 1-year deal, but he wanted to go on loan or Bray wanted him back on loan. And I was like, I'm not giving you a 1-year deal for you to go and spend a year playing for Bray. So he's agreed a 2-year deal. We'll have to see if he does actually join us. Be interesting to see if he does, because that would add an extra. He seems like a good playmaker. Not 100% sure. We'll have to wait and see if he does join us. But like I said, he's not going to be joining until the summer anyway. So it's not something we need to worry about too much. Coleman, not a great attempt there, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. They've gone back to a 4-1-4-1 formation. Really wanting to minimize the amount of opportunities that we get. Prince just about keeps the ball out. We're going to start making changes in the not too distant future. Richie Towell Quigley heads it clear. They've got another corner. Not too much going on at the minute. We're going to take Quigley off for Reece Griffin. I want to give him a game. Emran can come on for Chabozo, but as a winger, because that's what he does. We leave the final substitution for now. Reece Griffin, you'd want to be a little bit more, awake to what's going on, because could very quickly drop out of the team altogether. We have plenty of options in terms of players, so I wouldn't be resting on my laurels too much. We leave him as a central midfielder on attack. He's played quite well as a box-to-box last year. I think he played a couple of games as a central midfielder on attack as well. So, he's a decent player. We've also given him the number 8 because I have faith. He's probably going to be first choice centre midfielder in the not too distant future. Oseni with the hat trick, a perfect hat trick on his debut. What more? That is just, the lad who played for Waterford. He's come over from the dark side to Cork City from Waterford. And he's only gone and scored a hat trick on his debut, and a perfect hat trick as well. Chewich is probably going to be sitting there going, not ideal. Not an ideal start for him. Whelan's probably going. Whelan had a decent game, just wasn't quite effective or wasn't as effective in front of goal as he would normally be. Speaking to Devil, it's nice to have options now, because last season we only really had Whelan and Chewich, who were goal scorers. Oseni has already proven that he's able to score goals, and that is what we need. We do need a player who can actually score goals occasionally, because when Whelan wasn't scoring 2 years ago, we didn't really have options behind him. Cian Murphy was hit and miss. Gleeson, that's fine. He scored on his debut against us. That's standard. It was a good pass. McCarthy did quite well. I actually thought he was right back for how deep he was. But it's fine. One thing I would say, actually, St. Pat's have a goalkeeper that came through their youth intake that they played against us at the end of last season, and he looks fantastic. And now Galway have made it 3-2. We do tend to do this. I need to stop praising the players, because this happens all too often where we concede late goals. But that was an excellent win. That's fantastic. It's fine. Delightful. We will be back in just a second for the game against UCD. Hopefully, it's not going to run as long, but we'll still absolutely smash them. And you might get to see the black hits, which I'm really looking forward to. Right, fellas, it is now time for us to take on UCD. But one thing I did forget to mention was we played the President's Cup in the pre-season, and we won 6-4. It was a bit of a chaotic match, shall we say. Whelan scoring a brace on Afriti, Chibozo, Fabian, and Jake O'Brien all getting goals. But 10 goals. It was quite the President's Cup. I'm sure the fans, all 6,322 of them, enjoyed the game. But we are taking on UCD now. Second in the league, obviously, because we only won by 1 goal, whereas Derry won their game by 2 goals. It'd be interesting to see where we make it to next time the club reputation changes, or the competition reputation, because I don't think we're going to get as much of a boost as we did last season, because the rest of the teams in Ireland didn't quite make it as far as we did. None of them made it as far as the group stages, so that's unfortunate. There is 2 changes for today's game. Heffernan comes in because O'Brien picked up a knock in training. Carlsberg comes in because I want to start him over Chibozo. So they're the only 2 changes. Not expecting a massively easy game. I do think it's going to be difficult enough, but UCD have gotten rid of some of their players. Still have Lorcan Healy, a player that I'm still quite interested in getting a hold of. I think he'd be quite a good goalkeeper for us, but we already have fairly decent selection of goalkeepers. Interestingly, Prinz still continues to be number 1. Did try and get rid of Anang. Carlsberg's shot. If we tried to dink the keeper, we might have had a bit more of a successful attempt on goal there, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Carlsberg's corner fairly comfortably taken care of. What was I saying? Colin Whelan's true. Colin Whelan cuts back for Onofriti. Dinks it across. Giovanni Fabian puts it in the back of the net. Fantastic. Good in. This is going pretty well, if I do say so myself. What was I saying? I was saying something super important. I've forgotten now. Carlsberg shoots and puts it wide. Are we playing on key highlights? We are. Interesting. But yeah, I would expect us to do fairly well this year. I don't think the competition reputation for the league is going to jump that high because of how poor the rest of the teams did in Europe last season. I think Dundalk were the ones that made it the furthest. I think it was the round just before the Conference League group stage. They got knocked out, so they didn't make any group stages, but they did make it decently far. That was a decent cross, but unfortunately, Lorcan Healy is on top. Oh, I was talking about Anang. Um, we were looking at getting rid of Anang because he wanted a new contract and he wanted lots of money. So I took him from being he was first choice goalkeeper, but I don't remember ever setting. Oh, Sani puts that one wide. I don't remember setting him as the first choice goalkeeper, so I put him as cup goalkeeper, and he wasn't overly impressed with that. So I had a chat with him, told him he's going to have to deal with it, and he seems to have done. So he's just not going to get that much first team football. Onofriti puts it in the back of the net, 2-0 up. I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to praise the players, and we're going attacking because I want to see how many goals we can score. I think this is probably the reason the games take so long, is because we're quite an attacking team. Cian Murphy getting a goal for Dundalk. I'm so glad to see Cian Murphy doing well because I think he's a fantastic player. He just, unfortunately, isn't fantastic enough for us. But I will be interested to see how we get on in the Champions League qualifiers this year after our season off. Oh, Carlsberg beats his man and then wins a penalty. Not quite sure. Tripped by O'Brien. I thought it was Delap that took him down. Either way, Colin Whelan steps up to take said penalty. Smashes in the back of the net. You can always, Colin Whelan and penalties go together like cheese and crackers. There you go. That's my analogy. Cheese and crackers equals Colin Whelan and penalties. So that's gone pretty well. I'm not going to make any changes. Don't need to. Mulder, not having a great time. We do have a 19-year-old Hungarian who I'm thinking could. Oh, Jesus. Nobody was on the same page there. I'm looking at him as the potential long-term successor at left back. So expect to see him in a decent amount of games this year. But because he is very much just a left back, means that it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get on the bench because, like, Reese can play right back, can play left back. Kevin O'Connor was able to play centre back and central midfield as well as left back. So it's one of those things where, do we want utility players on the bench, or do we want a guy who's just going to come on and do just one thing? That's his thing, and he does it. That's all he's going to do. I don't think that's ideal. So we're not going to worry too much about it. We'll just play the players, give everyone as many opportunities as we can. Colin Whelan puts the ball through for Onofriti. Oseni puts it in the back of the net. It is 4-0. I think we're going to be a dominant side. I don't think you're going to see too many games until the summer. Might pop back in every now and again and be like, hey, we're doing this today because football, whatever. Not expecting massive amount of games, or don't expect a massive amount of games because probably not going to play too many league games on camera because it'd be quite boring just watching us smash teams constantly. But we'll see. Prince. I think if Prince just has a back four in front of him that are solid all the time, never have to worry, I think Prince could be a really good goalkeeper. If he has a questionable defence in front of him, I think that's when you find out how bad he actually is. I feel really bad saying that because he's an actual human being, but he's having a decent start to the season. I think you can agree. So we've just made a triple substitution, so hopefully nothing happens to any one of our players. But as you can see, we're doing quite well. We're doing pretty good, has to be said. Reece Griffin made his debut 3 days ago. Pops in to make to make his second appearance After 2 seasons of being first choice at Bluebell United and Wexford. I know he was at Wexford. I think it was Bluebell United he was at the season before. It's been 2 seasons as first choice, and he was come off the bench twice in 2 games. I still think he'd be pretty happy with that. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy if someone paid me to play football. Not a bother. I would be the happiest human in the world. As you can see, though, we are sitting on top of the division. That's 25 games unbeaten, I think it is now. Is it 25? I think, because it said, I'm pretty sure it said 24 games unbeaten the last time. So we're doing pretty well. You know? I think it's fair to say. We will come back at some point. I don't want to go like 3 or 4 months into the future. We'll come back at some point. We'll see who's challenging us at the top of the division. It's probably going to be Derry. So we may come back for Derry and Shelburne in April. We'll have to wait and see what happens, because the Champions League will be in here at some point. I think that'll be kicking off in like June, potentially. So yeah, I'll bring you back at some point. Don't sweat anything, just be grand. So if you have enjoyed this episode, do of course make sure to leave a like, comment down below, whatever you want, and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel, makes me happy, makes YouTube happy, and I will catch you in the next one.